Right now, there is a monumental shift happening literally right under our noses in the tech world. If you're a business leader, a developer, or honestly just someone who interacts with technology, understanding how AI is fundamentally rewiring the fabric of software development is no longer optional. It's absolutely critical. We are rapidly moving away from traditional code and crossing the threshold into what we're calling the agentic era. Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in. I want you to consider this quote for a second. "I've never felt more behind as a programmer." That's from Andrej Karpathy. Now, if you know this space, you know he's one of the founding members of OpenAI and an absolute pioneer in modern AI. Yet late last year, even he admitted to feeling completely blindsided. Think about that. The very people who built the foundation of modern AI felt totally caught off guard by the massive technological leap when models suddenly became highly coherent at complex workflows. Things are moving that incredibly fast. So to demystify this massive transition from traditional coding to AI-driven agentic engineering, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover Section 1, Enter Software 3.0, Section 2, the menu-gen paradigm shift, Section 3, AI's jagged intelligence, Section 4, vibe coding to agentic engineering, and we'll wrap up with Section 5, preserving human understanding. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Enter Software 3.0. This is all about treating the LLM as the new programmable computer. To really grasp this, we have to completely shatter a common misconception right out of the gate. AI is not just some faster tool to help human developers write traditional code. It is an entirely new computing paradigm. Just look at how this evolution builds. In Phase 1, Software 1.0, developers wrote explicit, painstaking, line-by-line rules. Then came Phase 2, Software 2.0, where we shifted to arranging datasets and training neural networks to recognize patterns. But Phase 3, Software 3.0, is a radically different beast. We're shifting from typing raw commands to treating the neural network itself as a raw, programmable computer. Your programming language is literally now just your text prompt, and the context window is your lever over the interpreter, telling it to compute directly in digital space. Let me give you a concrete example. Think about installing a piece of software like OpenClaw. In the old Software 1.0 universe, you'd need this massive, incredibly complex bash script. It was basically a rigid, manual checklist designed to handle every single possible platform and environment. But in Software 3.0, you bypass all of that entirely. You just hand a text prompt to an intelligent agent. That agent then looks at your specific system, intelligently adapts, and literally debugs your environment on the fly to get it installed. You aren't hard-coding rigid rules anymore, you're directing an intelligent entity. It's a total game changer. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the menu-gen paradigm shift, and how we are vaporizing intermediary software. This anecdote is fascinating because it shows exactly what happens to traditional apps when neural nets start doing the heavy lifting. Andrej Karpathy wanted to build an app that takes text-only restaurant menus and turns them into visual menus with pictures of the food. In the old paradigm, this is a headache. You have to build a user interface, host it on a cloud server, integrate text recognition software, and wire up these really complex data pipes to image generators. A massive effort just to string services together. But in the Software 3.0 paradigm, he just fed a raw photo of the menu into an AI like Gemini along with a prompt, and boom, the neural network directly rendered the final image, with the food pictures perfectly overlaid onto the original menu's layout. That entire middle layer of traditional application building, the hosting, the rigid data pipes, the UI, is completely vaporized. You're just feeding raw inputs directly into a neural network. So moving on to Section 3, AI's jagged intelligence, or excellence in code but failure in common sense. You've probably noticed this yourself. Why does an AI feel like an unstoppable, absolute genius one second, and then a totally confused intern the next? Well, the magic word here is verifiability. This basically means domains, like math or coding, where an AI's output can be automatically and easily checked for correctness. Because the system can definitively tell the AI whether it succeeded or failed millions of times during its training, AI labs can use massive reinforcement learning to absolutely perfect the model's capabilities in those specific areas. But check out this startling contrast. State-of-the-art models today can effortlessly refactor a 100,000-line code base. They can find complex zero-day security vulnerabilities that humans completely missed. But then, ask that exact same genius model whether you should walk or drive to a car wash that's 50 meters away, and it will confidently tell you to walk. It completely misses the hilarious, obvious physical reality that you need your car to get it washed, right? These models thrive in verifiable circuits, but they absolutely fail at basic common sense. And that is exactly why Karpathy notes
These things are not animal intelligences. They are statistical simulation circuits. You are summoning ghosts. It's so important to remember that unlike humans or animals that have intrinsic motivation, evolution, and common sense, these tools don't come with a life manual. Their capabilities have these wild peaks and valleys purely because they depend entirely on what specific data and reinforcement environments the frontier labs decided to feed them.
This brings us to Section 4, vibe coding to agentic engineering. We're talking about raising the floor versus elevating the ceiling. Because of this jagged intelligence we just talked about, we are seeing a really fascinating shift in the industry from playful experimentation to strict professional standards. You've probably heard of vibe coding. Vibe coding is all about raising the floor. The goal is to let everyone, even non-programmers, participate in building software, focusing on speed, fun, and accessibility. But agentic engineering, that is the serious discipline that elevates the ceiling. Its goal is to maintain a rigorous professional quality bar. It focuses heavily on security, robust architecture, and safely coordinating these powerful, but as we saw, highly fallible and spiky AI agents without sacrificing your organization's integrity. And honestly, this is completely rewriting how we build teams. If you're an executive wondering how to hire in this new era, those traditional whiteboard coding puzzles, they're basically dead. Instead, a modern interview looks more like this. Step 1, assign a massive project, like building an entire Twitter clone from scratch. Step 2, evaluate how the candidate coordinates AI agents to build it quickly and securely. And Step 3, literally unleash 10 adversarial AI models to try and break the site they just deployed. You have to test a candidate's ability to orchestrate agents and defend against agent-driven attacks. That right there is the new 10x engineering skill. All right, our final stop, Section 5, preserving human understanding. Architecting for agents, not humans. So, how do organizations actually need to rebuild for this? What does an agent-native world require? Well, if you are building for Software 3.0, you have to stop writing human-facing instruction manuals. Stop making documentation that just tells humans what buttons to click. Instead, you need to start building infrastructure with raw internal hooks. Think of them as sensors and actuators that your agents can directly manipulate. We are moving toward native agent-to-agent communication, and we have to ensure all our internal data structures are easily legible to LLMs, not just to human eyes. But before you think humans are obsolete, let me explain exactly why human talent isn't going anywhere. Consider the spiky intern mistake. An AI agent was tasked with setting up a payment system. Simple enough, right? Well, it assigns Stripe payments to a Google account simply because the user happened to use the exact same email address for both. The agent completely lacked the fundamental architectural judgment to understand that you need unique, persistent user IDs to safely map financial funds, rather than just matching text strings together. Agents have perfect, robotic recall of your system's manuals and code libraries for sure, but they possess zero aesthetic taste and zero strategic design judgment, and that is exactly where your human talent comes in. Ultimately, this entire massive paradigm shift can be summarized by this one profound quote. You can outsource your thinking, but you can't outsource your understanding. While the heavy lifting, that tedious syntax, and all the boilerplate processing are being heavily automated, human architectural understanding and strategic direction remain the ultimate bottleneck. Information still has to make it into your brain so you can decide what is actually worth building in the first place. Which leaves us with a really critical question for every leader, developer, and builder watching this. Is your organization still building software for humans, relying on that old Software 1.0 paradigm? Or are you truly ready to architect for agents? The raw, paradigm-shifting power of Software 3.0 isn't just coming, it is already here. Now it's up to you to decide how your organization is going to harness it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped map out the new terrain for you, and I will catch you on the next one.